Wow, what a crazy day it has been. I can't believe that everything is made up of the same cells.
I mean, not the same.
Like to think we're made of the exact same cells of plants and bacteria.
Huh? What? We're not.
Doesn't that mean we're technically plants and bacteria?
Huh? What are you
Then
talking?
can we absorb the energy of the sun just like plants? Or maybe...
Stop! I think there have been some great misunderstandings here. Josh! Whoa! Whoa! What are those?
This is a special magnifying glass that can zoom up to 400 times over the naked eye can see. Enough to see the microscopic cells.
Both of you stay here and look at the plants with your magnifying glass. It's science time!
Those cells. Those cells.
All constants and irrelevant.
Whoa! Am I high right now?
No, you're not. Now listen up, as I will only explain this once. But first, you should know that Robert Hooke was the one who discovered the plant cell back in 1665, and now he later described it as the basic unit of life.
Whoa! Is this a plant cell?
Now let's start with the nucleus.
Where's the nucleus?
It can be found at the center of the cell. It is the control center of the cell containing genetic materials, or DNA, and it controls the cellular activities. Next, the vacuole. It is a membrane-bound organelle that helps store nutrients, waste products, and helps maintain cell structure. The mitochondria, known as the powerhouse of the cell, it generates energy through cellular respiration.
Whoa! So that's the mitochondria?
And this is what we call the chloroplast. It can only be found in plant cells. It captures sunlight to produce food, which is glucose. The cell membrane, a protective layer that controls what enters and exits the cell. The Golgi apparatus, an organelle that sorts, modifies, and packages proteins and lipids for transport inside or outside the cell. The amyloplast, a specialized plant organelle that stores starch in tubers or roots. The smooth ER, a network of membranes involved in lipid synthesis and detoxification, lacking ribosomes on its surface. And lastly, the rough ER, similar to smooth ER but with ribosomes attached on its surface. It's involved in protein synthesis and transport.
Ah, so those are the two components of the endoplasmic reticulum.
So this is the plant cell and its parts. The nucleus, the vacuole, the chloroplast, the mitochondria, the amyloplast, Golgi apparatus, cell membrane, rough ER, and smooth ER.
Hey! Nuh-uh, it's my turn.
Whoa! Is that
You, John?
how long have you been there in
Glenn's arm.
What?
Now, you better listen up. This is the animal cell. It was discovered by Theodore Schwann back in 1838. He was the one that proposed that all living animals are made up by animal cells. Now, it's time for me to tell you about its organelles and its functions.
Wow, Glenn, your arm is so sweaty.
First up is the nucleus itself. The nucleus is considered as the main organelle of the animal cell. It is where it organizes, protects, and makes copies of the DNA of the animal cell. This is also where the ribosomes are created. Next is the Golgi apparatus or the Golgi body. Golgi body, or Golgi apparatus, is considered the delivery man of the cells because it transports synthesized materials from another organelle to all over the animal cell. Next is the vesicles. The vesicles are tiny containers that moves materials, digest materials, and even transports materials to outside of the animal cell. Next up is the endoplasmic reticulum, or ER for short. Now, the endoplasmic reticulum is divided into two, the rough ER and the smooth ER. In the smooth ER is where the lipids are synthesized, while in the rough ER is where another organelle are found. These are the ribosomes. Ribosomes are responsible for synthesizing sugar.
Ah, so that's the ribosomes.
Up next is the lysosome. The lysosome helps in digesting large materials. It is also responsible for autolysis of dead cells, meaning that it destroys already dead cells within the animal cells. Next is the cytoplasm. The cytoplasm is the jelly-like liquid within the cell. So meaning that this entire yellow area of the animal cell is the cytoplasm. And it holds together all the organelles within the animal cell. So up next is the mitochondria. Now, you might have heard of the mitochondria as the powerhouse of the cell. Now, how did it exactly get the name powerhouse? That's because of what it produces, the ATP, or adenosine triphosphate. In simple terms, it's basically just energy. Energy that we need to live. That's how it got the name powerhouse. Energy, powerhouse. Next and last is the cell membrane. The cell membrane is basically the entire thing, or the thing that encloses the entire thing, which is this green part. So, it protects the animal cell from other invaders, all the while controlling what gets into the animal cell and what gets outside the animal cell.
Wow, so that's what a cell membrane looks like.
So that's basically it for the animal cells.
Whoa, that's crazy. Wait, what? Where did you go, John? Wait, what? What are you doing here?
Point the glasses on a dirty surface.
Huh?
Just do it.
Give me that. Is that my dog's poop?
Good, you're finally here. Now this is the last type of cell, the bacterial cell. The bacterial cell was first founded by Antony van Leeuwenhoek back in 1676. Like any other cell, it also has its organelles, some with similarities to other cells, and some being unique just for this type of cell. So listen up, and I'm only gonna say this once as I tell you its organelles and the functions.
Is that a sperm cell? Oh wait, never mind.
Up first is the capsule. Now, the capsule is the outermost layer of the bacterial cell. This is just a protective layer. It is to protect the bacteria from the toxic compounds. It even allows the cell to survive against the immune system of the host. Next is the cell membrane. So, the cell membrane is actually covered by the capsule, but so that you can see clearly, I magically remove the capsule. Now, the cell membrane is responsible for maintaining the shape of the bacteria itself. Speaking of which, we have the cytoplasm next. So the cytoplasm, just like the animal cell, is a jelly-like structure within the cell. This holds many other organelles inside and is even responsible for cell growth and cell reproduction. Next up is the ribosomes. Now just like the animal cell, the ribosomes in bacterial cell are also responsible for creating or synthesizing sugar. Next up is the plasmid. Now the plasmid is basically like the nucleus of the animal cell. It contains the genetic information of the bacterial cell and is responsible for the replication of the bacterial cell. Up next is the nucleoid. Now the nucleoid is quite similar to the nucleus of the animal cell. It is the one responsible for the growth of the bacterial cell and also what maintains the total function of the cell itself. So up next is the pili. Now the pili is the hair-like structure of the bacterial cell. These are primarily responsible for cell-to-cell interactions. So when a bacteria cell passes to another bacteria cell, it is the pili that first interacts with one another.
So those spiky things are called the pili?
Lastly is a unique property of the bacterial cell, the flagellum. The flagellum has one job, and that is movement. The flagellum acts as a motor to propel the bacterial cell forward.
Wow, so that's the flagellum.
And that is all there is to a bacterial cell. All the parts and organelles of a bacterial cell are right here.
Whoa, that is interesting.
Whoa! Now do you see the difference between the cells?
Oh yeah. But can you teach us how to shrink like that?
Maybe another time.